Hello and welcome to Wizard World Virtual Experiences. I'm Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics. We are streaming to you live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, bringing you that Comic-Con life to the comfort of your home with these free, that's right, free celebrity panels, in addition to paid exclusive experiences, including one-on-one private video chats, custom recorded messages, and autographs, all on sale at wizardworldvirtual.com. And they will be all week, so continue to watch, even if it's on a replay. If you're watching right now, you can watch it again. It's all good, but definitely check out these once-in-a-lifetime experiences with your favorite cast members. Also, don't forget to check out the signed memorabilia and works of art from our favorite artists and vendors from previous virtual experiences and physical conventions, all at wizardworldvault.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring to this virtual stage the voiceover cast from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original cartoon. I'm giving them in the order of the song. Y'all know it. Sing it along with me. First and foremost, we've got Cam Clark as Leonardo.
Woo!
Hey,
Cam Clark is here.
Hey,
Yeah.
Barry Gordon Donatello is here.
Hey guys.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, Rob Paulson's Raphael. What's up?
What's up, kids?
Hey.
Hi.
And last
Hi,
but
Robbie.
certainly not least, the
buddy.
party dude himself, Townsend Coleman Michelangelo. Hey. Hey. Oh my goodness. Oh
Hey,
my
kids.
goodness.
There's my turtle bros, my
Yes.
brother.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, Townie.
Yes.
hey,
yes,
Cammy.
yes.
How are you, man?
How exciting.
I don't know if there is a possible bigger source of pop culture than this space right now.
Wow.
You guys are like literally everything. Everyone loves the Turtles. I love the Turtles. We're going to start off in the right way. This has been a crazy year. 2020 is a year to remember. But what is one positive thing that you guys have come out of this whole, pandemic experience with?
Oh.
Let's go, Cam.
Oh.
Let's start with you.
I don't have to see any people I hate.
Face to face. You're absolutely right. You're right. You don't gotta. You can be like, I'm unavailable. I'm unavailable.
honestly, Victor, I think we kind of were broaching this subject a bit earlier with some of you folks from Wizard World, and thanks again for having us,
Of
and
course,
all of you
of
guys
course.
out there for paying
Truly an
attention.
honor.
It is. But this whole experience that I remember, it was only a few months ago, but thinking, oh my God, well, I think I can work from home, fortunately, but I sure miss everybody. And oh, well, all the conventions we had booked, the traditional ones that were usurped by COVID Con,
Right.
all went away. But I'll be damned. Here we are. We're living that necessity is the mother of invention. And in a lot of ways, it's better. As you and your Wizard World folks suggested, there are a lot of people who ordinarily don't get a chance to go to any convention.
So true.
Thank you.
And the fact that it's, they can tune in from wherever, we're always amazed when we ask people at a live concert, where did you drive from? They say, 2 states away. It took me 27 hours.
Right.
But this way, I've been on a couple of these things where you got Australia and Italy and
we have that now.
And Chile,
Right.
all at the same time. It's like, I set my alarm clock for 4 a.m.
That's so
Well,
true.
I gotta say, for me, it's given me the chance to realize that this is sort of forcing us to do things in a different way,
like not wear pants
and like that, which I'm not. And
Turtles don't do that. What?
And we keep them in the back of our shells, and then. And to keep forging ahead in many ways, in new ways. But the thing that it's really done for me is made me appreciate the people that my friends and family that I don't get to see anymore in a much deeper way. It's really made me long to be with people more so than because I don't have it now.
Of course.
And so I appreciate it a whole lot more.
Point.
Yeah.
I had a surprise birthday party, Zoom birthday party a couple of weeks ago.
And I wasn't invited.
And you weren't. I didn't make the
No,
guest
none
list.
of us. No.
And a couple of friends were like, hey, let's do our little Zoom. Maybe we'll play categories. And I'm like, okay. So I turn it on, and all of a sudden the screen starts on fire with people who it's like, wait, what is my cousin Lorette doing with this guy from work? And
Isn't
what is
that great?
But what my brain did in the nanosecond, the original seconds, as it's going, I don't know what this is. I don't have records of this. For this nanosecond, I went, I have just fallen off a bridge. and I am plummeting to my death, because why else would cousin Adam be with someone from work and this person from grammar school? I'm going, I'm seeing everybody. This can't be good.
My life is flashing before my eyes. What's happening?
My life is flashing. This can't be a good thing.
Well, these are all great
Literally
answers.
what I felt at first.
Yeah, I can't compete with these answers. I have to be completely honest. And for me, the greatest discovery has been that my wife decided that she could make sourdough bread.
Hey, that wins.
And oh my gosh, does she make sourdough bread?
Okay.
It is the best sourdough bread I have ever tasted.
And chicken wings, right?
She's not a cook. She's a PhD. She's all of the things.
Are you doing drop-offs?
But oh my
Larry,
gosh, she is
Are you
just
dropping off
discovered
for Christmas?
this talent. Unbelievable.
That adds to our Christmas
Barry,
list.
are you
Can we
going to
get
drop
that?
those off at our houses?
Cam wants to know if she
we
delivers.
can try to figure that out. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to give a shout out to the people that are watching, like you said, around the world. We literally have people from Toronto, California, Oregon, New Jersey, Florida, Alabama, Texas, Arizona, Kentucky, Ohio, Washington, North Carolina, Darwin, Australia, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Like, wow, that is absolutely insane. But again, makes perfect sense because you guys like literally are like kings of pop culture. It's so absolutely true. And that goes to my next question. Like, okay, so TMNT is this global phenomenon, right? And I'm not going to ask, like, could you know, because obviously who can guess these things, but I want to know, what was it like when you guys were first pitched this quirky cartoon of martial arts turtles? Like, what were you thinking when you got that call? Did you go, well, of course, or what? Let's start, Barry, let's start with you.
I thought my agent was on acid, basically. He called me up and said, I've got this audition for you for a thing called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I have to confess, I had not heard of the comic books. So it was already a phenomenon, but I didn't really know that. And I just said, all right, you have nothing better to do than to call me up and make up silly things. And what is it really? And he said, no, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I said, well, okay. But then, I saw the sides and they were so good, they were really cool. And I thought, wow, this is good. I don't know if it's going to be a success, because it's so weird. But I like
Nobody
it.
tell Barry how good of a show it actually was. Don't tell him yet. We got to keep this a surprise.
Yeah.
But that was my first feeling.
I love it. Townsend, what about you?
Well, Robbie and I were working on a show called Fraggle Rock at the time. And I remember the director, the voice director on that show, a guy named Stu Rosen, came into one of our Fraggle Rock sessions and said, hey, you guys aren't going to believe what I'm going to be casting and directing next. And he opened his briefcase and pulled out an issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic. Oh, and wow. I had never heard of it, which is not a big surprise. I wasn't a big comic reader. But I looked at it and I sort of skinnied my eyes and I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I'll bring you guys in and, you'll audition for it and stuff. And so we went and auditioned and here we are.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened in a nutshell. And it was, I immediately thought of, pitching that show to somebody who ultimately did it. Say, here's the deal. There's 4 turtles who get coated in this ooze, and that enables them to do ABC. But if you're a human and you get coated in the ooze, then you become a rat. And so, but like Townie said,
at least you were a part of it,
Oh man, incredible.
My experience is a little different.
Talk to us.
The basic question of, what did you think when you saw the sides? I had just come off of a gig, being up at Will Vinton's studio, being Talking Lips who wear sneakers for a Kool-Aid commercial.
I remember that commercial.
So, what?
I remember that commercial.
Yeah. So I'm like, all in a day's work. I mean, what, turtles from ooze, Talking Lips with sneakers. I'm like, all right, bring it on, whatever. Yawn.
Yeah. Will the check clear? I'm in.
Yeah.
Right.
Does it pay?
Oh my God, I love that. I absolutely love that. So we got some folks from the UK checking in. We actually have Andrew Brady has a statement. You guys are all four huge staples of my childhood. I love you all. How often do you get that message? And does it still bring you the same level of joy every time you hear it?
Well, that was the first one.
What?
I've never heard that.
Who knew?
What?
Do they make action figures?
Seriously?
Stop.
Honestly, Victor, when in any of us, this is the God's truth. It happens a lot. And no, it is never not wonderful.
Right.
When people find out, look, we don't draw them and we don't write them. We've all had remarkably fortuitous careers, and knock wood, we're still working every day pretty much. But when people find out who we are, and more specifically with respect to turtles, it does nothing but make people so happy. And this is also the God's honest truth. Often people say these incredibly lovely things through tears, through joyful tears of nostalgia, stories about how difficult their childhood was, and but for Ninja Turtles, it would have been absolutely in the dumper. And it is never not overwhelming to hear that.
And they can be, 6'6" linebackers.
Totally.
You know, at these cons who are saying this through their tears. Can I give you a hug?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's amazing. And it never gets old, ever.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I mean, because it's so very true. Literally, because of you, I have a background in art, but it's because of you that I learned the names of the four masters. I knew they were turtles before I knew they were artists. Like that was, that's just the truth of things. So it's beautiful the way that it just touches pop culture. But here's a real honest question here. The 80s was so full of so many memorable shows that you guys have all touched on different parts and pieces. Was there something in the water? Why was the 80s so great for creativity? Like it's the decade of my birth. I won't lie, but magic things came out of the 80s, man. What was it?
God, I don't know. Cameron, you're a rock star, Cam. You know everything. What was it?
Yeah. Cam goes all the way back to the 60s.
That's right. The 1860s.
Whoa.
I don't know.
That was the time travel episode of the Turtles, y'all. That's what that is.
They talk about, even in movies, they talk about 1939 as, being
Gone with the Wind and
this year.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes I believe that right above our heads, metaphorically, or maybe literally, there's this energy, almost like one of those things at the dry cleaners, when they push the button to bring your clothes around, and ideas are just up there in the electricity, and we go, let me get in camera,
grab one.
And you grab one. And people kind of do like this. It's why sometimes you'll see successfully, even sometimes, 3 different versions of the same theme of a movie, like when there was Places in the Heart, The River, and Country, 3 wonderful movies about struggling in America's, heartland.
Yeah.
All in the same year.
Yeah.
Ideas are out there, and it's our job to, if we're fortunate to go, hey, look what's right above my head, and tug it down. So I think creative forces can work like that.
Without question.
Styles.
Yeah, I think logistically,
right.
There certainly seems to be something in terms of the late 70s were, and in fact, Turtles were close to the last vestiges, or rather, I'm sorry, it went from Saturday morning cartoons being Saturday morning with the occasional syndicated show on after school and all that. But all of a sudden, everything exploded. Cartoon Network, HBO, video.
All over the place, right?
Victor, what is different about you guys as the fans, I will speak for myself, with the exception of Mel Blanc. Cartoons were just cartoons, and I didn't care who did the voices.
Right.
And you guys come up to conventions, and even when I was your age or younger, it's not like I would have paid good money to run out and get an autograph of, the cast of Cool McCool. you know?
Yeah.
That's a great point. When I started to do Comic-Cons, and I kind of started a little later than the other guys, but when I started to do Comic-Cons, people would come up to me and talk about a show that I did. And I'd say, did I do that show?
That was me?
I don't remember doing that show. I actually have to go to IMDb and I'd say, oh my gosh, I did that show.
I did that.
I didn't remember.
But
guys,
people like come up and talk
happen.
Mighty Orbots. And I'm saying,
But
what?
Listen, I love the Mighty Orbots. Nobody knows about that one.
But the 80s allowed the opportunity for a lot more programming. They needed stuff to fill all that. And all these new DVDs,
Right.
laser discs,
Right.
VHS,
beta.
Yeah.
Well, that's when cable was getting really big back then.
Totally.
And so, like you said, they had a lot more outlets that they had to fill. And it's also, Robbie, you touched on it too. That's when the syndicated cartoons started.
Totally, which is exactly how our show started. Yeah,
that was us.
Our show is bass backwards because generally a show, as you may recall, is a big hit on the Flintstones was an ABC show, and Johnny Quest I think was as well. And then if they get
Don't mention
successful-
Johnny Quest, Rob.
Oh, sorry. I call it the Cam Clark story, but in any case, and then they revert, or they flip over to syndication. Our show started being syndicated by Group W, and it did so well that CBS said, let's take a flyer and spend another $50 million doing more. And
with basically a 5-episode serial, which was also very unusual.
Paid for by the toy company, who, by the
way,
story
that,
manufactures the toys.
Days. Yeah.
Yes.
Still does the toys. Yeah.
I think they do. Well, no. They just lost it to Hasbro, I think.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Like a year or so ago.
Really?
So it's very recent. It's very, very recent. But I wouldn't say it's under Hasbro now. But again, the thing that makes this so great is you guys did have such a significant part in changing the tone and the feel of what the Turtles were. The comic books were very grim, very dark. Yeah. You guys made it very kid friendly. What was it like to have that sort of creative push behind you, knowing that Eastman and Laird were behind it all the way to change up what the tone was of the Turtles? Did you guys have conversations about that?
Well, we didn't have a reference. You hear about actors who like, I didn't read they might read the book, but I didn't want to see, Betty Davis did this before, or Clark Gable. I don't want to see their version.
Right.
For myself, I had never heard of it, so I didn't have to like mix it up or change it up. Right. The guys, the creators, they're the ones who. That's a question for them. It's like, how did you feel about going, this isn't our cartoon. This isn't our comic book. What are you doing?
And then they did a whole other kind of approach when they did the live action movies.
The features, totally.
So I think that they were very conscious of the fact that there were different audiences for the Turtles. And they tried to reach as broad an audience as they possibly could moving into all of those niches.
Well, I think also remember, like we touched on, the first 5 episodes, and ultimately the first 13, as I recall, were paid for by Playmates Toys.
Yep.
So the whole deal. Look, we're all in show business, and if you're lucky enough, we're all lucky enough to be blue collar workers in the Dream Factory, and that's a great place to be. But when you start creating, we all have friends who've created and pitched shows. And if it's your first project and Victor Dandridge Productions says, okay, I'll give you $10 million. Here's how it's going to work. It's my money. And
we'll figure it out.
Right. Sure. And so my suspicion is that Playmates obviously and brilliantly said to Kevin and Peter, who were probably in no position to, I know Kevin, we all know Kevin really well. I don't know Peter.
Yeah.
But my suspicion is that they kind of thought, well, artistic integrity is nice, but a couple $1 million is really nice too. And the Playmates folks probably said, well, this is ostensibly a kid's show. So we want to be able to have kids watch it. And what I think speaks so perfectly to the power of this specific franchise, it's very unusual that a franchise can withstand and enjoy all sorts of different interpretations,
Yeah.
Very much so.
irrespective of the producer or whatever.
Mhm.
There are versions of this that are dark and intense and features and all that. And then there are fun kid versions. And now it's been around for 30 plus years and the fan base is exponentially larger, Victor. It's so rare.
It's so true.
So unusual.
Yeah, I
And
was
it's
12
all
years
turtles.
old when we started.
But
Yeah.
wow. I love it. I love it. Actually, okay, so Andrew Brady says Leonardo is my favorite. Cam, that's for you.
Mine too.
He taught me so much, like how to conquer my fears. What are your thoughts on each turtle having a psychological effect on personal growth? I think that's a great question.
Wow.
I'm
All
going
of
to
that is
piggyback on
for
that.
me.
Mm.
And
Well,
yeah,
not
and
just
we-
you, of
and-
course, but how did you add your particular little piece to that? How did you develop that character for each
Well,
of you?
Townsend, being from Cleveland, was a total surfer dude.
Absolutely.
Yes,
was a
Lake Erie
natural.
Some
surfing.
big waves on Lake Erie.
Huge sport right there. Huge sport. Do not get in those waters. Don't do that. Barry,
So-
what about you?
Well, I was the nerd on the show. I was the nerd in real life. So, but what we called a nerd then, of course, was, someone who felt that brain power was a really important thing. And what I hear, from people that come up to me in Comic-Cons about Donatello is the fact that, people said, I went into tech because of Donatello. I
That's great.
went into science because of Donatello. And that just really warms my heart because, these are people that are doing incredible things for humanity right now. And the fact that Donatello had even a small influence on that is just mind blowing to me.
Amazing.
I get fans who say I went into rehab as a result of Raphael, which, whatever it takes.
I mean,
I would have thought that would have been Michelangelo, but
it's a
Well,
party dude, but it's different.
I think we
I
all
think-
I think we all get these comments all the time, especially when we're at Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
And with Michelangelo, I very often hear that from fans when they were kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, and perhaps going through really tough times, even at that age. Perhaps their home life was not good, or their parents were
Right.
splitting up, or whatever. And Michelangelo taught them how to have a positive attitude, or
Yes.
gave them the opportunity to smile and learn how, to rise above those things with humor.
Absolutely.
I last year we were at a Comic-Con, and Barry, I think I shared this with you at one point, but one of the gentlemen there came up to me, and we were having a conversation about this very thing, and he said, I'll be honest with you, it was Donatello. When I was a kid, it was Donatello who taught me that it was okay to be smart.
How about that?
And I
That's
thought,
beautiful.
wow, it's so amazing to me that, because I don't think any of us really, I didn't think when we were recording these shows
No.
that we were, having that kind of influence on
Right.
Not
kids.
even close.
But
A
to
new
hear
thought
that all
came-
these years later is just amazing to me.
Yeah.
A
Amy?
thought just came to me with this question that leads back to your other thing about like interpretations, and like when you said, Robbie, about the creators going, okay, we'll switch it up. As the boys know, they all got to be these goofy guys,
Hmm.
Right.
and I was, pardon the expression, the straight man. And hey,
irony abounds. What can we say?
I mean, terms
I'm
of the
Even then
trade.
they were trying.
We
I
love
wanted
you,
to be
Cam.
a silly clown like they were doing. And so I pretty much was wanting to be the character that I later got to play on the Tick with these
Yeah.
boys, which is the, this super, this guy, the zero hero. And I remember the director, Sue Blue, took me out in the hall. The guys have heard this, because I was starting to play Leonardo like this, wanting to make him be a cartoon of this guy,
Right.
He-Man.
and she calls me out in the hall and she goes, "What are you doing?" I went, "Well, I'm just making him kind of silly like other guys." And she goes, "Don't, you're the
Yeah.
straight guy." So
Right.
as the straight guy, the serendipity here was that the people who come up to me, because I played him earnestly and sincere and let these other guys be the crazy monkeys, I got the compliments of, you were the leader and you taught me
Yes.
about leadership, as opposed to poking fun of being in charge. This is a new
Yeah.
thought to me just this second
It's so true.
as we're
That-
talking, like, well, maybe that direction answers your question that I would not have chosen
Yeah.
to
Right.
play him earnest
Right.
if I had
okay.
given
Isn't that-
I wanted to be silly like you guys.
Right, right.
But that's such a salient point,
Yeah.
Cam. Victor, this goes right to your point about, did you have any idea, ... And,
Right.
and Townsend mentioned it. We before the advent of Comic-Con mania and the opportunity to social media and to get the chance to really have FaceTime, even virtually,
Right,
I loved cartoons as a kid. Most of us with a pulse did.
right.
But I promise you, and I had things that influenced me that I still remember that mean a lot to me, usually because of the Flintstones, Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers primarily. But man, when you meet people who talk to you about these, like Cam just said, or Tony, or the specific issues in their personal lives that were informed by a cartoon show,
Mhm.
it is so much bigger than a paycheck, than an action figure, than, we've all been rich and poor, rich is better. But these opportunities to really have a legacy that, by their own admission, shaped people and changed their lives.
Yes.
Right.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Magilla Gorilla didn't quite change my life.
Not right.
You know,
yeah.
Not quite.
So
not
it's
quite, but-
crazy that the Turtles had that influence with. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm growing up watching
Huge.
cartoons, and they
Yeah.
were just fun. And when I turned off the TV, that was it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, no, when the turtles were around, they were always there. And speaking of turtles being there, I got to bring on one of my favorite turtles of all time. Michelangelo, can you join us right quick? Mikey, are you here?
Mikey's
There's
still
another
down the sewer?
Michelangelo?
Oh, yeah. Mikey is here. Turtles are real, people. Like that's 100% absolutely true. I'm calling Michelangelo, calling
Maybe
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo's in rehab. I don't know. He's not over.
He's
No,
got to
He's
pop
your
in here.
imaginary friend.
There he is.
There he
Oh
is.
my gosh.
Mikey is
Hey,
here, ladies and
Mikey,
gentlemen.
what's shaking?
Hey guys,
Yo.
is there still time to buy the meet and greet things?
Oh yeah.
I can't-
Cool.
Is he speaking
Hey,
Esperanto?
guys, are we gonna go pizza sometime?
Wait, you're breaking
Sure.
up a little bit.
Breaking
We
up a
can't
little
hear.
bit.
The
I
signal
can't-
from the sewer is not coming in real strong.
Isn't
Isn't that the worst?
Wi-Fi.
I know, right? Donnie, fix the Wi-Fi, man. Come on, what's going on?
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Hear me
keep
now?
nodding yes, like you think I understand you.
That's right.
Okay. You hear me now?
We can hear you better. Yes,
Okay, cool. Townsend, are we gonna go get pizza sometime?
Townsend, you got to get some pizza with
Absolutely.
Mikey, man.
Soon as
You
the
better
vaccine
believe it,
gets,
dude. Are you kidding?
distributed, Well,
Awesome.
soon as they do the vaccine, we'll
Time
all
to
meet
buy
up.
the meet and greet passes.
Yes, with the meet and greets, you definitely can get some pizza together. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. A
Cool.
hot fudge, marshmallow, tuna fish, and Doritos pizza. It's my favorite, bro.
Awesome.
Anchovies and hot
yes.
fudge, dude.
Well, again, I have to get going for like ninja training. So I'm gonna go, but I'll catch you guys in the rewatch party.
Thanks,
All
Mikey.
right.
Much appreciated, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh my God,
Thanks.
I love it. I love
Take
it.
Turtle
care.
power.
Yeah, you might
Always,
want to rinse
always.
that suit out with yeah.
It might have a little COVID on it. Again, folks watching, please check out those paid exclusive pieces, the private one-on-one video chats, the autographs. There's going to be a awesome autograph piece that all 4 of these guys are going to sign. That's going to go around, and everybody's going to get a signature on it. So you definitely want to get that. I'm probably going to ask for that for Christmas. I'm not going to lie. I have no shame. But just to play it up, okay.
That's a week
Talked
from
about it.
today, right?
No!
No, but kind of. It's getting close. It's getting close. I think we got like 2 weeks.
Don't
got like 2
even
weeks.
Oh, okay.
bite
Yeah,
your
yeah.
tongue, Townsend.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
gotta talk to my
pizza
secretary.
confessions. Pizza confessions. Let's jump right into it. Because of you, I'm guilty of trying some bizarre things on my pizza. Ice cream at school, Skittles, Kix cereal.
Oh my
What's the
God.
weirdest thing we'd find on your pizza? Cam, let's start with you.
Oh, fine. The weirdest.
I just put you on the
thing,
spot immediately.
My, I would say my footprints when I forget that it's on the floor and I walk through an old pizza box. That doesn't stop me from eating it. You see,
No.
if pizza in my
Nice.
house, if pizza falls on the floor, we have a 48-hour rule.
Good.
Oh, that's what I'm
Right.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I absolutely love it. Rob, what about you?
I still, it's not that weird, but when I was a little guy in Livonia, Michigan. My parents got a pizza, and I don't know why I remember this, but it had shrimp on it, and I loved it. Wow. So I put shrimp on my own because it rarely shows up in the menu at Little Caesars or Domino's or wherever you get your.
Yeah.
But I really like shrimp on my pizza.
That's brand new wave right there. We are probably all going to try this. If this is something that he's like pranking us on, we're all about to fall for it. I'm gonna just warn you about that right now.
No, it's true. I love it. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Townsend, what about you?
Dude, I'm sorry. I am such a normal pizza eater, so I don't have any weird stuff. It's just your basic mushroom and sausage and hot fudge.
Okay, all right.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with that. A little hot fudge.
That's right.
Barry?
Oh gosh, I'm pretty much of a traditionalist. I have been getting in one weird pizza that's every kind of mushroom known to humanity. With truffle oil, truffle oil
mushrooms.
Truffle oil.
It's just so it doesn't have the tomato sauce on it. It's just a white pizza with a lot of nice cheese.
And now with a sourdough, with a homemade sourdough crust.
There you go.
You know how they have? You know how they have pot brownies? Do they have pot pizza? Like on margarita pizza.
Why
it's
not?
Coming now. Oh my goodness. Listen,
if
I'm still stuck on how come no one's actually done.
Note to
Go
self.
ahead, please.
Yeah, Mary Jane's margarita pizza, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. It's a franchise
at the dispensaries while you're waiting for your oils.
There you go. Yeah, there's your edibles.
Now, you guys didn't just voice the turtles. Quite a few of you have other voices within the show itself.
Sure.
Bebop, we've got Rocksteady. Some have stepped in as Shredder and Krang, I believe. What was the best part? They were in there. What was the best part about voicing something other than one of the turtles?
The other three have to answer that because I just got to watch them all. Let me tell you something. I had the best, and still do, but I had the best goddamn job in Hollywood to sit with these three folks for a couple hundred almost episodes. Oh my God, what a guest. So yeah, tell them all you guys what you did because I just got to watch. It was great.
Well, I had a great time with Bebop because I was basically hired for my voice. I mean, I didn't do any voice for Donatello,
Well, you also happen to be a pretty damn good actor, Barry.
Yeah, I was gonna say not just the sound.
No, but I rate, all I had to do is talk a little higher and then I was Donatello. That was it. I mean, there was not a lot of vocal pyrotechnics involved. Like Rob does so frequently. And
well, do a little. You're here, Jesus. Please do a little Bebop for us.
But Bebop, So Bebop put me because I was a singer, so I did have a low range. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get it a little lower, and then once I got it lower, then I kind of decided he was a New York guy.
Great.
And then when I saw the picture, and it said, he was kind of a piggy guy. So I added up. Then I added up.
And that's
that's how Bebop came around, It was
and that's no Quick Bunny, let me tell you.
No, that's amazing.
Not a Quick Bunny. Quick Bunny put me in the other part of my range.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I can even do anymore, You can't drink it slow if it's quick. I mean, that's like that was my Edith Bunker range.
So great.
I can hear that though. I can hear that.
But isn't it cool? We all are literally like brothers, and it never is not wonderful to watch my pals do that stuff because I know what the audience is doing, and it's just the coolest thing. In fact, Cammie is Barry's goofball counterpart. So go ahead, Cammie.
Partner in crime.
Well, besides Rocksteady, if you listen to the first 5 episodes talking about changing your voice, the first 5 episodes of Leonardo, he pretty much kind of just sounds like this.
That's true.
I kind of played him here. And then by about, fourth of the way through, Leonardo is living here. This is how his voice is. So if you plunk up one of the first shows and later, I kind of like segued. Nobody went, okay, let's check the voice to make sure it matches. It just kind of evolved into this place.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, but no, when I did Rocksteady, I thought of he was a, you know, they don't like a toddler, so he has a little lisp, and he's like this
Funny.
with, oh, I wish I had one of those.
You know,
This is
Cammy just touched on something that is really interesting about doing cartoons. Because when I moved out here to LA in 1984 from Cleveland,
Mhm.
I had no doing animation was not on my radar,
Same
and
here. Yeah.
I just got real
Nor
lucky
me.
with an audition for a show called Inspector Gadget. But what I discovered after doing several series is that you start where you think you're going to start on that
Mhm.
first episode, but then several episodes in, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe longer, that the character develops
Mhm.
and it evolves. And so, just like Cammy just said, you know, I could look at whether it's Ninja Turtles or The Tick or whatever, look at that first episode or two and see that, oh my gosh, this guy doesn't sound at all like
Isn't that
what he
something?
ended up sounding like.
Yeah.
You know, 3, 4, 5 episodes in.
I love it. I love it. Now, Rob, you're one of the only ones to do 2 different turtles, though.
I got 2 rides in the turtle van. I figure
That's right.
if I live to be 100, I can knock them all out. I'm telling you. Well, thank you for bringing that up. And by the way, I always love to take this opportunity when we have an audience and a platform from which to say the following, and that is that I think one of the things that all of us love about this particular aspect of show business is that people involved in it, you know, 3 of whom you see in my friends, they're not only the most gifted, really gifted people, sing, improvise dialects, sing in character, left, right, you name it, but they're the kindest, most decent people. And you'll hear Frank Welker say, gosh, you know, I could do this, but you really got to get Cam Clark. He can knock this out of the park. Or if Townsend will say, hey, I can do that all day, but Jeff Bennett channels that guy. And because
You know what? I would say, I know you hired Rob Paulson, but I like to give a shot at stealing.
if you're already
I could be
making,
better.
if you've already put your bar that low, please give me a crack at it.
I think I could nail
Manyar
it.
Brothers. That is
But
no
the
two ways
first
about
thing
that.
that happened when I was told that I could, that I was going to get a crack at the Nickelodeon iteration of the show is I
Mhm.
made sure that Barry was not involved, and it was not unusual. Any of us.
Yeah, he
would
had
have
a
done the
hitman
same-
set up for Barry. to make
That's
sure
right.
he's
Take
not
him out.
involved.
But that's really, it's important for people to know because, it is a difficult business, only that like any other business, if you're trying, especially as a freelancer, of course it's challenging, but nobody
course.
ever puts a gun to your head to be an actor. You know,
Mhm.
it's a choice to be here. However, once you start to get some traction, it's difficult. You're looking at 4 lottery winners. To be able to be in a position that we can still work is remarkable. So there is obviously a desire to, okay, man, this is mine. I'm going to hang on to it. But I have never worked with a more purely genuinely kind group of people, which is precisely why something as important as Ninja Turtles, you want to go to the original guy who's a brother and say,
Right.
and Barry first, oh, Rob, are you kidding me? No, this is you. God bless you, my friend. If there's anything I can do, let me know. It's
Or
the
you
most,
know, even a little step further back, having come from theater and stuff, where it's a little, I would say, more little cutthroat.
Yep.
But I'd be on a call, and one of you guys would go, "Hey, Cam, did you read on blah blah blah?" And I go, "I don't think so." You got to call.
you got to do that.
You
Yeah.
got to call your agent because this
That's
is so
awesome.
right up your alley.
Mhm.
And I was like, what manner of world have I entered where people refer each other?
That's beautiful. That's
It's
beautiful.
just
And
a great
obviously
group of people.
that, and it absolutely, and it plays, it shows both on the show and outside of it.
Thank
And
you.
speaking of which, I want to get like a quick impression. The late great James Avery was such an integral part of the show as well. And what was it like to work with him?
Oh.
Obviously, people know him from so many different places. He clearly was the voice of the Shredder for all of us for forever.
Yep.
But just a big teddy bear.
Yes,
Totally.
yes. Oh my
Really?
goodness.
The nicest
never
guy with
wore
the best
shoes.
laugh, and he never wore shoes. Right.
He never
Yeah.
wore shoes.
He had Nimitz class feet. I mean, just a
Wow.
They were
really,
It's like Sasquatch feet.
they're
yeah.
like
That's
canoes,
amazing.
these things.
But truly, Victor, he really, truly was a decent guy. Again, though, not and fascinatingly, but again, it really reflects, and maybe it's because it's cartoons. When you do cartoons, by and large, it's about joy. It's about utter creativity. We're not limited by the way we look. We're encouraged to be utterly different, and so it's kind of the ultimate play, right? But James, when Fresh Prince became a big hit,
Mhm.
he was demonstrably sad that he couldn't keep it up because his shooting schedule wouldn't allow it.
Right.
And when we would get together, rarely, but it did happen, and to kind of compare notes and things kind of settled down, he loved Ninja Turtles. He was so happy to be part of it, and even said that when he got, I remember he said it to me personally, he said that when his first day of shooting on Fresh Prince, everybody freaked out that the shredder was there.
Yes, yes. We
It's
actually
amazing.
did a Fresh Prince panel, and they talked about that.
Is that
How
right?
again, how permeative that the Turtles are. That other shows have that same sort of reverence. Like the actors within other shows, like, I know who you are. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. That is so awesome.
From a
We're-
cartoon.
I mean,
Yeah.
a life-changing, huge impact. Like it's beyond a cartoon. But we are running low on time, so I want to give everyone a chance to say one last thing to the fans before we go. Cam, we'll start with you.
Why
If
are you
just
always starting with me?
You're the
because
leader.
The leader
You're the
leads.
leader.
Yeah, the leader leads.
So what's the question? What's the question, Mother?
You're the straight man.
Yes. Just a
That'll be
quick
the
note
day.
Just a
Did
quick.
you say? Did you say that'll be the gay?
Yeah, I did. That's
Oh,
exactly
okay.
what I said.
Okay.
Okay, something to say to the
Yeah, just
folks
a
out there
quick,
in television land.
thank you or something like that. Where tell the fans where they can find
Thank
you
you or
next.
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Something like that.
Go to hell. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, me.
I'm tired of being the leader. Just put up the episode where I give up being the leader. That's my
There we go.
favorite.
There we go.
So I love everybody that's watching right now, and a COVID advice: find the glass half full if you
There
can.
you go.
There we
Are
go.
there things that you could do now that you can't when you're on the mousetrap on the crazy town?
Yeah.
I've been able to do some creative things that I couldn't have done before. So try to look outside the germ.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Wow, that was pretty good. Does
I
that
like that.
work?
No, that was
Good.
really
Like
good.
outside
Move
the
on
germ.
to
That was really
somebody
good.
else
That was really
now?
good. Barry, you're tagged up next, sir.
I just want to thank everybody. I was kind of, I retired and happily so, I must say. But
Because you're living in the sourdough now, of course.
I'm loving
Yeah,
my
it's that
life.
sourdough challah
I'm the
that's coming.
oldest of the turtles. I'm the old guy. So I just want to thank everybody because the discovery, for two reasons. First of all, I want to thank you for you because I didn't know how you felt about us.
Yeah.
I'd see ratings and they were great, but I didn't know how you felt about us until I started to do Comic-Cons and actually met you in person. And it has been just an extraordinary experience. So I really, really want to thank you for caring that much. And it's really beyond belief to me that
Wonderful.
that
That
you're
is
like
wonderful.
that. The second reason, though, is because we're doing Comic-Cons and because we started to do Comic-Cons, I got to see these three guys after about 30 years.
Oh, here.
And
Okay.
since we've started to do it, we really have become brothers. It brought back all of the joy and all of the camaraderie of those days. And now they're alive and they
Yes.
exist and they will exist as long as we're on this earth.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to thank you all for bringing us together because
Barry actually
that
thought I
has
had passed
really been a
away.
gift.
No, no. He's the worst.
What did he say?
He said he
You said you brought us alive, and I said because Barry thought I had passed away.
But how thrilled he was to find out that you hadn't.
That's
exactly,
right.
exactly. It wasn't a
Didn't he
It was like a yay.
Didn't he die?
No. Oh my goodness. Rob, what about you?
Well, ditto to what my fellow turtles have said. And I'd like firstly thank God that we're all here. It's pretty remarkable to do this again, as Barry said. It's just an incredible, wonderfully privileged position in which we find ourselves, due absolutely to all of you. And thank you, Victor, and the folks at Wizard World for giving this wonderful opportunity to see those handsome faces again. But as Raphael says, laughter's the best medicine, dudes. Cool thing is you can't OD and the refills are free. Cowabunga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Townsend, round us out if you would.
All right, well, dudes, here's the deal. You got to know that without you, we wouldn't even be here.
Yeah.
So you are like totally bodacious. You mean the world to us. And all I can say is that, as cliche as it sounds, there is nobody like you. So remember that. And I suppose all I can really say is, Cowabunga!
I could die happy now. This is the best moment of my life.
Hey,
Oh my goodness.
Can the four of us treat you to a little turtle power?
Sure.
Can we do it?
Yeah.
I think so. We're going to try.
Okay.
Count us
It
down.
may,
Victor.
well, I don't know. It may cut us off, but
No. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make this work. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Turtle power!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that does it. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics, saying thank you for tuning in, everyone around the world. I got to give a shout out to Michelangelo, our turtle that jumped in.
Thanks,
Give
Mikey.
us a quick push. We really appreciate it. Again, don't forget, if you're watching live or watching later on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, check out those paid exclusive experiences at wizardworldvirtual.com. And also come back here because we've got plenty more stuff coming. Let me give you a quick rundown. We've got Stella Maeve that's coming from the Magicians. That'll be later on today. We've got Eddie Furlong. We've got a special Gotham showcase. We got all the cool stuff coming to you right here, Wizard World. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, I'll see you there.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Love you guys. See you, fellers.
For the wonderful Stella Maeve.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
Woo.
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. As best as we can be, right?
Yes.
Right? We're still alive. So there's that.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, as I was reading that, I was like, April and August. Was that 5 years ago or just a couple of months ago? Like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Different lifetime.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like Carol Baskin's time ago. Yes.
Yes.
I know, right?
Gosh. I was going to say lover, but I don't.
Right.
But
Loved
I'm
the
so
binge.
intrigued.
Loved the
What?
distraction. Loved the distraction of everything.
Loved
she
Exotic
provided.
Joe. Loved him.
Well, we love that we get to come together virtually despite all of the craziness. And you participated in not one, but 2 virtual panels. And looking back, what has it been like to connect with your cast members and fans virtually during all of this?
It's been so cool because it's kind of like our only form of communication during this kind of crazy time, except that Hale is renting a spot up the street from me. So we'll go on walks and socially distance in the neighborhood. So that's been really a lovely treat.
Fun.
Yeah. But other than that, it's been really nice. It's been, this was the year I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do all the cons and then it was like COVID-19. And I was like, we're not we're gonna do this. But it's really cool because we found like a good middle ground and a good medium, and the fact that we get to utilize this and do this and still interact with fans and still get to, you know, see each other and reminisce on like the good times. It's worth it. It's great.
That's super fun. And I know fans are going to love being able to chat with you, as we have, you know, chatting offline before we started. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
About your character. So I am a huge Julia fan. I loved her from the start, loved her
Thank
every
you.
step of the way.
Thank
Just
you.
have to ask, what was it like going from kind of an outcast in the magical world, taking your character from an outcast to a goddess to just like a all around awesome leader of the group?
It was, I remember the beginning was hard because all of my stuff was shot sort of separate from everybody else. So she kind of had her own journey and her own storyline, and it was really segregated from the rest of the group. And as much as Julia felt, I had like my frustrations with her in general too, because she kept, it was like trial and error, and she went through all of these things and all of these emotions and all of these crazy struggles. And so my dog is crying. Sorry.
We've all been there, girl.
So yeah, so I remember there were points where I was like frustrated because I was like, like, but I don't think she would do this, or like, this doesn't make sense to me, or blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, when you play it out from the end, like in the long haul, it was all learning lessons for her to fully become herself. And she had to go through like the hardships and the frustrating things, and you know, like not getting into break bills and all that stuff to sort of find her resolution at the end, which I think made it that much sweeter. But in the moment, I remember feeling sort of segregated from everyone because I was like, man, like I don't see any of you guys until like the end of the season. And it was kind of like that for the first 3 years. I didn't really work with any of the regular cast members until like November, and then we would finish in December. So it was like always with, which was also super fun because like I got to, you know, play with a lot of guest stars and a lot of people that I wouldn't normally. But I felt like a missing link from the crew, you know?
Yeah, we forget that on the viewer's side of, you know, we think you guys are just all hanging out together all day. And it's like, unless you have a scene together, you're not necessarily around each other.
We had like 2 separate units too for the first 2 years. So like we would both be shooting at the same time, but different, you know, they would be like as one group, and then it would be me on my own.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We will get to the fan question, guys. I see them coming in through the chat. A lot of you are watching from Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, Romania, Canada. You guys are watching from everywhere. This is awesome. But before we get to your questions, we want to get through a few of our own because we're also super fans. Did you have any storyline particularly that was your favorite?
Oh yeah. The goddess storyline.
Yeah,
That was my
figured.
like absolute season 3.
Yeah.
Trying not to be biased, but I was sort of waiting for that the whole 2 first seasons. You know, I was like, wow, like when's it gonna happen? You know, and I thought we were gonna get to live in that space a little bit longer. But that didn't go as the books did exactly. You know, I remember in the books she didn't speak for like a long period of time. And I thought maybe we were going to get to like experiment with that. And, you know, they did it a little bit differently to translate it to TV. But the goddess storyline, easy.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
Who doesn't want to play a goddess?
I know, right?
Totally. Like ethereal and like, you know, talking to animals. I was like, yes, this is like, I'm in my zone.
That's awesome. So we do have a fan question that didn't come through on the chat. It came through on my cell phone from a super fan, aka my mom. So hi, Kay. Hi, Mom. She wanted to know if you kept any props or costumes from the show.
I kept a lot of sweatpants from wardrobe from our costume department. I stole a couple of those, and I kept I wore a onesie in season 5 when we did a Christmas episode, and I was extremely pregnant in real life, and I kept that onesie, and I still have it, and I'm saving it for when I have my second child, round 2.
That's awesome. Those are very COVID friendly takes there.
Perfect.
Love
And
it.
Liz, do you want to ask one of the fan questions that came in that wasn't related to me personally?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think any of these people are, siblings or parents.
Who knows?
But okay. Let me see. Okay. Oh, we already answered favorite storyline, so we got that one. This one is from Rainbow Bright Eyes. And Rainbow would like to know, Stella, what is your favorite thing about being a new mom?
Ooh. Gosh. My favorite thing.
You can say the
I don't
onesie.
know.
We won't judge you.
I could say the
Pants,
It's
sweatpants.
so cool. There's so I don't know if I can like pick just one, but
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing. It's like the coolest. It's maybe like the coolest thing I've ever done.
Right? Like you created life, girl. It's like,
So
and they
cool.
love you at this stage too.
love
Like you're the
you. I know.
coolest.
I know that's like the coolest thing, like the fact that you get to like somebody just loves you no matter what, they look up to you, and she's just like so cute and so cool. Although she's very sassy, like when me and Ben are acting silly and stuff, she's like, she gives us so much brows and so much hand. Or like she has her ice pop and she's just like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're supposed to be more cuddly. You're just a baby.
I know.
She's so independent. She's so cute. But yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. Being a mom rocks.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know.
I agree. Oh yeah, it's the best.
Oh yeah.
It
Best
really
thing
is.
ever.
I'll never sleep again, but it's fine because
Oh yeah,
they're
sleep
the
is
best.
dead.
Sleep is dead.
Sleep died with the Magicians for me. So I was like, everyone's like, you're never gonna sleep. I'm like, used to it. Hit me.
Yeah.
Like, I got this.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Okay, we have, let me see. Before we go, I want to make sure we shout out. I know that everything's weird right now. I'm not even sure if sets are opening. I know some are, some aren't, but we would love to hear where we can find you in the future or any other projects that you want to plug.
There's some things in the pipeline, but my dude, my hubby, Ben Wadsworth, he is actually he's premiering on a new Bryan Cranston show on Showtime called Your Honor, and that's on the 5th. So you guys should check it out. He's in the first 3 episodes. I'm not gonna say anything else, but he's like, the show revolves around something that happens with him. Dum dum dum.
Oh, I need a good mystery. We just finished
It's like,
The Undoing.
yeah, it's a good limited series. I think it's like an 8-episode limited series. Showtime.
And what was the show name again?
It's called Your Honor.
Your Honor. Got it.
Bryan
Right, Your
Cranston
Honor.
plays a judge.
Oh, good casting there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. He's so
Right?
brilliant. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I need to rewatch Breaking Bad. I
was just gonna say, I watched Breaking Bad for the first time. He showed it to me. He's like, have you never seen it? You have to see it. It's incredible.
Right.
So good.
Yeah, and how do you say no to that, right?
I know.
Yeah, you know.
Like,
Well,
Brian
thank you
called,
so
yeah.
much. It was very, very fun to talk to you just as a fan. And I know other
You
fans are
ladies
going to
are
have
awesome.
a great time talking to you too.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, that's the 6th, December 6th. We can hang. I can do live chats, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yes,
So
December
nice to see
6th at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, guys. And those are the virtual photo ops and live video chats.
Come and hang with me.
Yes, she's amazing, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun. All right, well,
Bye,
we're going to kick it
ladies.
off and do some clips of Stella. So at the panels from earlier in the year. So make sure you hang out, give some hearts, check out those recorded video messages and autographs that are also on sale throughout the week. And thank you again for joining us. That was so fun.
Woo! Thank you.
Do you have a favorite tut out there? And how was it like working with the choreography with that and kind of syncing up?
Flying the moon, destroy.
Oh yeah, what was that one?
Hail and
Oh, there's a lot of this.
No, it reminded me of? It reminded me of that scene in Wedding Crashers when Vince Vaughn pretends to have lost, like he can't hear and he can't speak, and he's like talking to Owen Wilson, and he's like, okay, we'll have pancakes, and then we'll buy it. Like that's what you and Marina were like. It was
Our star on our palm. We have to like gather it and then draw a star and then drag the. this action felt you know, like the.
But we did have we had a separate tut choreographer to answer your question. Kevin Lee was our tut choreographer from day one, and he is like a world champion tutter. And he sends us videos and shows up on set to make sure that we're doing it right. And I mean, I've never been able to do his tuts justice. I have the dexterity that it needed. I would just, with my face, I would cut it. And you know, but he's extremely talented, and we were really lucky to add that element to the show.
I remember before we shot the show, before the pilot, Sarah had emailed all of us videos of tutting, because in the book it just says intricate hand movements or something like that, and like didn't think twice about that. And then we booked the show, and then she sends us this email that has all these YouTube videos of people tutting, and she's like, this is what it's gonna look like. And I was like, called my agents, I'm like, I'm done, I can't do this, like on my hand, I can't, like, done. No, because it was like the most incredible, and none of us are that good. Hale might be. I think Hale's the best. I'm the worst.
Well, Olivia, all those Rhyneman, windy, throwy things that I don't know.
Oh, I can do that stuff, or like my nipple twisting, but
nipple twisting. Or tots. I didn't do that much magic over the 5 years.
Oh,
like looking back. But
yeah, there wasn't magic.
Yeah, Olivia did a bunch. I know Stella, you had a ton as well. Any hard ones stand out to you, Stella?
Gosh, yeah. They were all really
all of them.
They were in the beginning of the series, like it was really cool, and I loved how delicate it was, and it was awesome, and we got to like experiment with some really cool. And then as the series progressed, it became like voguing, and it was like voguing meets pop and lock. It's not like I don't know what's happening, but there's no way I can do this and not look like a fool. Like,
there was a nice part.
As the series progresses, we're supposed to be getting better with magic. So I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Well, there was a nice part. We all got like, there was a point like in the beginning of the series, like we all were doing our own separate tuts. And then like the last 2 seasons, there was so much cooperative magic that we had to call each other on that tut's wrong. I mean, it was excruciating to get the timing of the tut down with everybody. I'm like, you're doing that with your index finger? I'm not doing that with my index finger. What are you doing? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I liked the daintier, like more like, you know, whimsical, like
sparkly
ballerina. Like I like that.
Yeah, I'm good at dainty.
Yeah, the World Seed one was tough. The World Seed one looked hard.
I blacked out. I don't even remember it. By that time we had tutted so much as a team, like I don't know what was happening.
Summer had to explode a wall in the last season. I was like, hey girl, what's that tuck gonna look like? The wall exploded and we had to get it in one take. And it was just a reflection of Margot's extreme power. It was
all my tuts because I never got the emails for the tuts. And so I would just make mine up on the day.
So you stole everything and you made up the tuts. The things you learn on Zoom calls.
Well, I mean, you know, I grew up in this industry. I started auditioning when I was a teenager, and there were conversations pretty early on in my early 20s with agents and managers around like the strategy of how and when to take a gay role, and the effect that would have on your career, because it would more likely than not pigeonhole you and prevent you from expressing your actual range as an actor. And I don't fundamentally believe that. And I think that the industry is slowly changing. And in the last 6 years or so, we've seen a lot of change for the better. I don't think that I would have imagined that I would have been able to play a character like Elliot on a show that skews somewhat mainstream in my adult life. I don't think that was a reality for me in my head. But I'm really grateful that I did get to play Elliot, and I think Elliot may have been part of a larger wave of change that's continued over the last 5 or 6 years. And there are a lot of fantasy television shows now that have a queer character battling similar issues. And I'm not suggesting that I started that by any means. Elliot is a composite of a lot of other characters that already existed in and of himself. His last name Wa is taken from Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Wa. So he is sort of like a literary composite in and of himself, but I'm certainly happy to see that the trend is shifting and evolving as time passes more and more.
Yeah, well said. And we see it a lot in the comments just right now. This is from Nimus Specter. I love the queer representation. It's part of everyday life in this series. It's less gay role or queer roles as much as just a role. It's a person, you know.
I was gonna say I remember reading one of the episodes, and it was one of the characters. It was before Candace came in. It was one of the characters that I was working with, that me and Richard were working with as a part to do the conjure spell with Jade too, actually.
Yeah. Silver.
And sorry. Silver, exactly. There you go. But in the description, nothing was put that this character was supposed to be trans or supposed to be any type of way. It just was a character. And then when we all got to work that day, it was just like it was normal, you know. And she was telling us how she transitioned when she was like way later in life. And I remember just thinking, like, I think me and Sarah had a conversation about that, where it was like, it was something that like didn't even need to be talked about. It just like there were just pieces of it laid throughout the series, and it wasn't like something that needed to be made a spectacle of, or something that needed to be explained. It was just self-explanatory. It was just like, oh yeah, this is the world that we're creating and that we're building, which is much like the world today. Is just what you see is what you get, and it's not, you know, this thing that sort of needs to be like pre-mandated or explained, which I thought was pretty cool. I just thought that was really awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. So I think about that a lot with the magicians, and the more that we see on TV and films now is that we're starting to steer away from oh, this character is a character because they're trans, or this character is a character because they're LGBT plus. It's like, no, this character is a character because they're a great character and they're a freaking person, and like that's what defines them, as who they are as a person and as a character and as part of the story, and not like this, like, you know, they are blank. It's like
not a spectacle to be pointed out and like, exactly. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's super valuable. If anyone hasn't seen it, go watch Disclosure. It's a really beautiful documentary, and it's really important, I think, based on and just to give credit to like our writers, creators, I think they really tried to honor that and shift that, like, the false narrative that we've been, you know, living in for a long time. And in Disclosure, something that they kept pointing out, specifically Candace actually, about how there's a lot of times the role is they really point out the fact that, like, whatever that she's transgender, and instead of just having her as a person,
as a woman. Oh yeah.
And it just so I'm grateful that shows like this exist that shift that narrative, and I think it's continuing to shift.
And, you know, in the story of Magicians, Fillory is that escape, you know, specifically for Quentin and a lot of the other characters. And so Rico Miscreants is just wondering, and, you know, with everything that's going on, what is your own personal Fillory? What have you been doing to sort of escape a little bit from things that have been going on? I thought this was sort of an interesting way of asking, like, what's up?
Well, can I just jump in on that?
Yeah.
You know, there's a side of me that feels that in many ways when this started, this was kind of Fillory. You know, the fact that the world and the pressures and the kind of anxieties that come with day-to-day living, the FOMO, the kind of competing on social media, the feeling of like, am I missing out on a great job? Is my agent doing the right job? All that kind of poof disappeared. And instead I was home with my wife, my loved one, the most important person in my world, with my books, with my dog, backyard. And I consider myself to be incredibly fortunate that in a way, this has been a kind of Fillory. You know, it's got dark edges, and to the world outside, it's a little cataclysmic. But I will always be grateful for some of the silver linings that this has produced. Things like this, like saying hi to all you guys. I don't suppose I'd have ever seen you again unless we happen to be lucky enough to work again. But things like this has been, you know, terrific. And the sort of absence of the day-to-day anxieties. Yes, there's another anxiety taking its place, but the level of day-to-day anxiety has definitely dropped for me. I don't know if anyone else feels that.
Yeah. It's a great message of sort of like, you have to take care of your home, like work on you and your family and yourself first before you can do, I mean, literally anything else, which I think is like, it's funny. It's very Kismet in its own sense.
Yeah, that makes me want to say, like, oh, Jade, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, but I would like to pause.
I'm waiting for each one.
Right now. A little, like, we'll talk after. We will, but you know, just because we would anyways. But I would posit is that my interpretation of the books and of the show is that that Fillory is seen to be the escape from depression, but that Fillory isn't an escape from depression. It's the idea that you can, by removing yourself physically from a place, that you can escape your own mental health issues. And I think it's something that we find that even when characters go to Fillory who are struggling with things, that those struggles still exist within them. And it was never Fillory in the first place. It was just them. And so for me personally, like, being in lockdown, it kind of mirrors my own journey in lockdown, which is I started going back to therapy virtually, you know, because I was like, oh, wow, like Sel was saying, like dealing with your own self, and there's not as many distractions in your family and your home, and being like, what do I need to work on? And I was like, yeah, no, there's no place that I can go to escape the reality of my mental health issues. And so I have to, like, it's really hard. It's so much easier said than done. It took me a really long time to finally make that appointment. I'll tell you, it was like scary for me. It really was. But yeah, so in a way, my virtual therapy is my Fillory. And also being in my pod in the backyard with my dog. If we wanted a more literal answer, I've been finding joy in little things. Like, I have a little pod in the backyard. I sit there with my dog and my tea and like my Funko Pop. And it's like my own little Fillory, because there are places you can bring. I just want to say also, there are places you can bring yourself physically that are healing. I don't want to say like there's nowhere you can go. I just mean it's good to like deal with those things. But yeah, I just travel to my pod and my dining room and my living room, and I bring my little stuff with me, and it's like cleansing for me mentally, just being in like a spot 10 feet away. So it's about finding those little spaces for yourself, I think.
I was gonna say, having a yard too has been so nice. And even for people that don't have a backyard or a garden,
going on walks.
Ben, my partner, he's never seen this. Well, this is way less deep than that. I was gonna say, he's never seen the Sopranos. So I'm showing him the Sopranos for the first time. So we're like binge watching shows.
That's awesome.
So we're just like diving into like the, you know, the way I grew up, which is like this like Jersey Italian mob, like late early 2000s, like late 90s New York, like fucking
what is
great escape. Yeah. You can like deep dive into like and just binge any series, and it's awesome because you get to kind of like escape whatever it is, you know, and just dive into a world. I don't know.
And Stella, just so you know, people in the comments are saying congrats on the baby again, and they wish you the best of luck with the baby as well. We know that's
really cute.
Yeah. Jade, you were rudely cut off by Brittany before you started to say something. What was it that you
acknowledge that? Thank you. I'm just kidding.
Go on.
Thank you. I know, but honestly, to just piggyback on what everybody else was saying, I think there's a beautiful thing. There's an inside joke happening. I missed it.
No, so. people are excited. We're on the edge of our seats. That's why.
I love it.
They just want to fight more. That's what it is. No, but I just to piggyback on what Stella was saying, what Charles was saying, Brittany, whatever.
Anyways, my mental health, whatever.
Come on, I deal with your mental health every day.
I know, sorry.
We're kidding. It's a serious thing.
He does.
But no, I think there is something like really beautiful about delving into shows and having that beautiful escape. But also the thing that I realized, and we talked about this before jumping on, is joking about how much I was traveling and moving constantly. But I think part of it was because I was seeking for something to fill something, like to fill a void. And like Charles said, in this time, all of the outside circumstances have been completely removed, whether good or bad. It's been removed from us. And so what we have left is ourselves. And it's been a time for me of deep introspection and mindfulness and really finding, like, I always thought, oh, well, if I do this, then I'll create value in my life, or I'll feel better about something, instead of just feeling good about who I am and just sitting and being with myself. And I think that's, for anybody that needs to hear that today, I think that is the magic. It's like being able to feel okay with whatever it is, dealing with mental health or depression or anxiety or just challenges, because there are real human challenges right now, to like know that that's happening and still be okay, to be okay with ourselves, and to find that peace within ourselves, I think has been my own little Fillory.
Amen.
Hail, Harvey, things that you've been using to sort of escape, if you will.
Yeah, I feel like, that piggyback on that finding, before this I was like traveling, like trying to like try new things, go to different places, and then being forced to sit in your own thoughts and sit with yourself and then think, what am I doing? It's like, what am I doing with my life? What's going on? And then it made me really kind of connect more with my family, where like, before it's like, oh, I'm gone for 6 months and I'm filming, and then I see them when I see, and then being home and being that your pod is like your core family, and whether that's a family that you choose or a family, blood family, whatever that is, it really kind of put things in perspective. Like I was like, wow, this is the core of things. Like, this is what matters. This is where it stems from. Like, this is what's important. When you go home, this is all that matters. Not like the car that you're driving, not that you went to Barbados, whatever. It's like, this is what really matters, is that core. So that's what I realized throughout this whole process and journey that we're going through. And I also, more importantly, made banana bread. So.
Banana bread, yeah.
Banana bread feels like
it's really good. I know everyone's talking about, like, everyone's making banana bread.
Harvey,
and I was like,
I commend you on your baking, because that was like a vow I was going to do, and I have not done it. So
no, I put it off because I was like, I'm not going to be cliche. And then after doing my realization, like just zen, and I was like, I'm going to try banana bread.
What do they
I have like a mixer.
What do you put in it, Harvey? What do you put in banana bread? What are the secrets?
Is a cup of sour cream.
Oh,
really?
That's what makes it moist. I know it sounds gross because I read it. I was like, ew, that's disgusting. I'm not doing
it. Sounds good.
It sounds disgusting when I read it. And then I did it, and I gave, like, family and friends, like, dropped off at their door and like rang the bell.
Then it was like creamy.
Moist. It's just like, it's like buttery and moist, and people are like, this is the best thing you've ever baked. And I was like, thank you.
That's awesome.
I want some.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I know you're making us all hungry on the chat. I didn't know Twitch had a banana bread emoji, but no.
I'll send you my address later.
I'll get it for your birthday, not like Brittany.
Ooh, very good. That was really good. Damn.
I was gonna say, like, to add on to what Harvey was saying, just about sitting, and Jade as well, like sitting with yourself, realizing what's happening. This pandemic's also shown me personally, like, a lot of interpersonal people's just kind of like what people value, and like what Harvey was saying, like with family or with whatever it is. And it's quite interesting how when there's like a pandemic on in our hands, like just how people's true colors come out, and how you see who's really selfish and who's like not. It's kind of wild. And being like a new mom too, it's like, whoa, like you really have to think about you have to think about your neighbor, you have to think about other people, and there are so many people that don't. And it's kind of just like very revealing and very wild to like be on this journey with a newborn, because she's 7 months. It's like our duty to protect her and like care for her, and literally we have her life in our hands. And it's wild to see how many people have reacted to that and said to us like, well, we don't want to social distance, but like, we don't want to. And I was like, well, too bad. Like the youngest baby to get it was like 5 months old at the pediatrician. So it's like, it's interesting to see where people put their value and how sometimes it's not just about you, but it's also about your neighbor and the people around you and like somebody else's child or your or somebody else's grandfather or anything, you know?
Yeah, it's wild. Our moral compass of like,
totally. That's the perfect.
Like, yeah, if you're going out and about with no mask on, like, it's not.
I've
just
had a bunch of people be like, well, we want to see the baby, but we don't want to social distance. I'm like, well, have you gotten a test? Like, what, too bad? Like, we can't, not gonna swing it. Like, you know, family or not, it's like, we're just being really, really careful just because like, you know, we want to make sure we protect our baby from not being sick.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you'd think everybody else would be on board. But it's wild to just see how many people are just sort of not concerned with it or not thinking about it. It's interesting how it's sort of, this pandemic's affecting everybody differently. It's wild to see how everybody's reaction to it.